All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders of GMS who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect Akim on the four corners, preaching the truth and sincerity. Peace be unto you. I want to elaborate on this precept in Mark chapter 10, verse 5. But I want to also, read more of the chapter as well to get a little detail. And basically go into Yahawashi's tactic or technique with dealing with scoffers, because he's basically talking to one of the Pharisees in this precept, and the Pharisee happens to be a scoffer. Now, if you know anything, your toughest scoffers will always be people who are knowledgeable about the scriptures, about the precepts. Sometimes you have Muslim scoffers, but even then, a lot of times they'll try to scoff and angle somewhat towards the Bible. Saying, oh, the promises went to Ishmael. Or, you might have evolutionists, people that think that we evolved. They might try to use evolution. They might use a little bit of the Bible, but they're not going to be, for the most part, quoting Moses, quoting Isaiah, or anything like that. Your toughest scoffers are the ones that know, because when you know about something, it's easier to deceive. And here, you have Pharisees basically trying to, because Jacob is a supplanter. And Jacob is trying to do his best to supplant in this verse right here. Okay. This is Mark chapter 1. Mark chapter 10, verse 1. It says, and he arose from thence and cometh into the coast of Judea by the farther side of Jordan. And the people resort unto him again, and he was wont, he taught them again. So basically, the people came, to listen, to hear him, because he had the Spirit on him. And people understood this guy's different. Whether or not they even accept him as the Son of God at that moment, they understood that something special about this person. Who is this person? Let me, there might be people, that was on the fence. There's some people that believe, some people that didn't believe. He gathered all types of people. Verse 2. And the Pharisees came unto him and asked him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife? Tempting him. All right, now I'm going to elaborate on verse 2. Now, this is the very moment the scoffers began. And this was their whole intentions to gather around to resort with him. They didn't come because they genuinely wanted to hear the word of the Lord, and they really wanted to genuinely learn. This Pharisee or this scoffer's first tactic was asking a question that he already knew the answer to. And that's one of the things that you'll, for the brothers who aren't out on the highways and byways, and you might experience it a little bit if, you probably try to argue people on the internet or argue people in real life, but it's different being out there on the line. But let's say if you don't have this experience, one of the things that you'll experience is scoffers, and they'll come and they'll ask you questions that they already know the answer to. So right there, that's already a high red alert. You asking a question, I know the answer to it, you know the answer to it, we both know the answer to it. So your intentions at that point is already clear. All right. Now let's see what Yahawashi responded by doing. Verse 3, he answered and said unto them, what did Moses command you? So Yahawashi already understood that they was tempting them. They was trying to scoff. So in response, he asked them a question. He said, and he answered and said unto them, what did Moses command you? So you had one question as a scoffer question. It was responded by another question. So the thing is, Yahawashi is establishing is he's basically, I know the answer, you know the answer. So why are we acting stupid? You tell me. you know. So he basically made sure that he said he wanted the scoffer to establish it. Verse 4. And they said Moses suffered to write a bill of divorcement and to put her away. So this is going back to the point that Yahawashi was making. He asked the question, and now he responded. The scoffer responded by answering the question. Now you got to think, why didn't the scoffer just say, "Hey, hey, Yahawashi, Yahweh said, or Moses said that, yeah, we could put away our wives, so everything's cool." Because he's looking, basically what he's doing is he's looking to justify himself within the law. That's what the scoffer is doing. So what Yahawashi did is he asked them this question. He said, "What did Moses say?" And they said basically what Moses said, and they spoke correctly. Verse 5. But the answer they was using the law as basically like a loophole in it, trying to exploit the law. Verse 5. And Yahawashi answered and said unto them, "For the hardness of your heart he wrote you this precept." So he says, and he specifies and he elaborates on it, which Moses did it, but Yahawashi says, because y'all niggas is hard-headed, y'all niggas. So that's why he said it. This ain't how it's supposed to be. If you got a fleshly heart, this is for those who have a stony heart. And that's, basically want to go is that, this is a law that was given for a person with a stony heart. This, reading verse 5 again, Yahawashi answered and said unto them, "For the hardness of your heart he wrote you this precept. But from the beginning of the creation of God made them male and female. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife." So now Yahawashi, is basically saying from the beginning, from the very, very beginning. Now, let's make this comparison and contrast here. By the time Moses came around, we had already sinned. Sin had already entered into the earth. So the commandments that God gave to Moses, at this time, sin was already entered into the world. At the beginning, what Yahawashi is saying, when this commandment was given that man shall, because he's quoting in Genesis, because ironically also Moses wrote Genesis as well, so he's actually still quoting what Moses was told to write down when he went up to the mountain. But Yahawashi was referring to the beginning. Okay, what about when Moses wrote in Genesis about the account of how the Most High gave instructions to Adam? And he basically said, he said, how a man shall leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife. And basically saying, Most High didn't say, "Hey, yo, if you don't like kick that bitch to the curb." That's the point that he's making. Is at the beginning, before sin into the world, these were the laws. Now, after sin entered into the world, boom. Now the Most High has, because that's not to say that there was no law before Moses. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not implying that, because there always was a law. But you've had the full extent of the law, which also accounts for, our stubbornness. And this is an example of it, divorcement. Because before, when we were in the garden, the Most High didn't have this law. This is what I'm saying. So you had laws, but the Most High didn't have that law, because that's what it says. When God breathed into Adam's breathed into him the breath of life, and he became a living soul. That was him giving the laws. So Adam understood the laws, but Adam didn't understand anything about no divorcing your wife. Ironically, Yahawashi is Adam. So who would understand more than him? All right, reading on. Also, I want to say too is that if you look at what Yahweh commanded Adam to eat, and then what Yahweh commanded Noah to eat, because again, Noah had the law, but the 613 commandments wasn't given to, Noah while he was on the ark. That came later, and it was given to Moses. So basically, I'm saying they were instructed about the laws as far as Adam was, Noah was, Moses was. But we understand that Moses was a lawgiver. But if you read, matter of fact, let me go there. I don't even want to just paraphrase it. It's like, matter of fact, let me start with Genesis 1. Genesis chapter 1, verse 22. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth. And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. And God said, let the earth bring forth living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beasts of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and the cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. Verse 26, and God said, let us make man in our image. Now this is getting to the point. After our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. Reading on, verse 28. And God blessed them and said, now the them is referring to, the men, women that he created, which is referring to basically the Adamites. If you can't receive that, that's fine. I'll have another lesson about how God just didn't create two people. But short precept, if you're that curious, you can go to Genesis 5:1. But I don't want to elaborate on that too much. But I want to basically just say that them is talking about men and women that God initially created. Verse 28, and God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth and subdue it. And that's actually ironically another verse, because how could he talk about them? Them is plural. He had to be talking about more than one person. God blessed them and said, God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. Now, the reason for me bringing up this verse is that in the beginning, God basically told Adam to eat fruit bearing seed. He never commanded them to eat meat. Over here in Genesis 9:1, this is when God had commanded man to eat meat, and this is when sin had entered into the world. This is Genesis 9:1. It says, and God blessed Noah and his sons and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. The same thing that he told Adam. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth and upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand are they delivered. Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you, even as the green herb have I given you all things. The flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat. So God specified that you can eat, but don't eat anything with the blood in it. So over here, when sin entered into the world, that's when God had commanded man to eat meat. But in the beginning, God never commanded man to eat meat. Also going back, Genesis 1 and 29 says, or actually I left off verse 30. It says, and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every herb for meat, and it was so. So even the animals, all they did was eat herbs in the beginning. And if you read in Isaiah 65 and 25, it's going to come back to a time where animals only eat herbs. They're not going to be eating each other. This is Isaiah let's see where I should start. Isaiah 65 and 17. Behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come to mind. So God's going to create a new heaven and a new earth. This one that we on now is going to be destroyed, meaning pass away from one condition to another condition, because the earth is always going to abide, but this is going to be renewed. And this is talking about in the kingdom of heaven, when everything is made new. And one of the things that will be new or renewed is Isaiah 65 and 25. It says, the wolf and the lamb shall feed together, and the lion shall eat straw like the bullock, and the dust shall be the serpent's meat. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, saith Yahweh. So the Most High is saying that, because right now this ain't happening. The wolves and lambs don't feed together. Lions don't eat straw. Lions are carnivores. They're not herbivores. So there's going to come a time where, again, animals are going to basically be in harmony with one another. Wolf and lamb should be able to feed together. Now, in the beginning, this wasn't something that was going on in the beginning, as far as, a lion tearing off the neck of a lamb and stuff like that. We'll go back to Mark. It says, verse 6, it says, from the beginning of the creation of God, made them male and female. For this cause shall man leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. So then they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God hath joined together, let no man put asunder. Verse 10, in the house the disciples asked him again of the same matter. Verse 11, and he saith unto them, whosoever shall put away his wife and marry another committeth adultery against her. So In the beginning, it was not so. Yahawashi is expounding and saying that this was adultery all along. If you put away your wife and marry another, you committed adultery against her. And we know adultery is sin. Now we also know Yahawashi didn't teach anything new. You know, he basically said that the laws and statutes and commandments are here to stay. Now, I'm going to go and grab, this is what he said in Matthew 5:17. It says, "Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill." So the Most High wasn't on some of the laws done away with. The Most High was actually just expounding on the law. And the funny thing is, Paul also expounded on the law as far as do not muzzle the ox that treadeth the corn. You know, so these laws are actually a lot deeper than what the carnal mind can conceive. You know, and so I basically just wanted to leave off on that note, is that basically that the Most High, this is how the Most High dealt with scoffers, but also it's because of the hardness of your heart is that law existed. You know, and on that note, I want to give all praises to Yahawashi Yahawashi, Bashim Kadash, double lines to elders GMS who were well. Peace and salutations and shalom.